Hoo-rum-rai, thought a little lie. Whack diddle to me, hoo-rum-rai.
My son John was tall and slim, and he had a leg for every limb.
My son John was tall and slim, and he had a leg for every limb.
My son John was tall and slim, and he had a leg for every limb.
Now he's got no legs at all, both shot away by a cannonball. Hoo-rum-rai, fought a little lie. Whack diddle to me, hoo-rum-rai.
In the making of this film, I've discovered that people can't take the amount of voices I have in my head. And so I really wanted to show you what it's like to be inside my head. And unfortunately, in doing so, it confuses people. And so is this. So I tried to put this together in a way that shows you how my head works without completely confusing you. There's pops and clicks in the audio. It goes up and down. There's heavy background noise. And I left these in to emulate the hallucinations that I have. When somebody says something is different than when I actually experience it. And so there are jumps, there's discontinuity. It all is intended to give you an idea of how my brain works. The disconnected jumps that I make and the discontinuity that is the story, the narration that goes on in my head. So I had to clean it up some, but I tried to leave the disjointedness that I live with in the film. It's a story that goes back and forth. And it's told in the stilted manner that I think. Okay, I have no clue what to say. I know I'm going to Colorado and I know I need to talk to you. But I don't know what to say. All the revisiting that I'm going to do, it's going to be healthy for me, but I'm not looking forward to it because I don't know what it's going to do to me emotionally. I'll have a good friend there. My sister, really. She'll be there through all of it for me. She's driving me everywhere and I'm staying at her house. Her and her mom will make it an exciting trip. A heartwarming trip and a fun trip. No matter how hard it may be. Emotionally, we don't know if Jerry's going to see me. We don't know if the buildings are still standing. We don't know any of that. I know that the company that ran the last apartment that we had is closed. They're the ones that wouldn't take the money, and we ended up in the street.
But I mean, you're the one that lived down here. I mean...
Well, we didn't drive, sweetie. We didn't own a car.
Well, I guess I just didn't think of it because buses sometimes take the highway if they're going a long way. I just don't. Can I tell you something?
Yeah.
Well, I couldn't really express myself properly the other night when we were talking about when you guys were homeless here, because I just couldn't get it out. But I think the thing that bugs me is it's hard to say out loud because I think I'm gonna cry like a bitch right now. I really missed you a lot. I didn't understand why you quit talking to me. I didn't know where you went, or you know what I mean? So I worried about you constantly before you ever got a hold of me. And I think I was just, when I realized that you guys had been here for a long time before you went to San Francisco, I had a lot of mixed feelings about it. Like, it wasn't just about, you know, I would have done this, I would have done that. It was more like my feelings were really hurt that you didn't want to reconnect. I felt like, why did she disappear and just never talk to me again? Because I couldn't think of any fight we had. I couldn't think of any, I mean, I wasn't disapproving of Emery. I didn't really know him very well, but he always seemed nice. He was never a dick to me, ever, at school, so.
And I think you're off kilter. Not that I'm not.
December or January, we wound up homeless the first time, and all of a sudden we're out in the freaking streets on that first night, you know, and it snowed, of course. It's Denver in the freaking middle of winter. So we had to sleep in shifts, individual shifts, down by a creek that's a slash park in Denver. It's kind of sunk down so they can't see you from the road. It was pretty safe, but still, we could have got a camping ticket. At the time, you couldn't do that. If you set up a tent on a city, on city property, let's say, you know, a sidewalk or wherever, you set up a tent, they'd have you, and if you're lucky, they would just take your tent down and give you a ticket, okay? Most likely, they would arrest you. Mm-hmm. You know, it's the standard society's response to everything, you know, criminalize poverty, criminalize homelessness. But still, we slept in 20-minute, half-hour shifts each, because if you both go to sleep, you're liable to wake up hypothermic if you wake up at all, you know, because it's definitely below freezing. You know, at one point it got so cold we both got up and walked over to under the bridge to have a light, you know, like pretty much just every bridge in the world does, and we were warming our hands as much as we could by that flipping light, you know. That was the only source of heat we had for 2 days.
For the 0 blocks anyways,
Well, also,
so we have a ways to go.
This is down where we stayed overnight.
Those are new,
Down next to the stream.
right?
That's what Emery was talking about when we walked to one of the underpasses here.
Oh yeah, like this one.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And it has a little lamp underneath it, and that's how we warmed ourselves. Back to places that I remember. And they were places where I felt like nobody cared whether I lived or I died.
Life in America, in a capitalist country, is about survival, profit or die. And that changes you. It changes you instantly and forever. It made me, well, angry, bitter, you know, embittered. I mean, you'd squash a baby bird in front of me, I'd be like, whatever. Remorseful. You know, you regret all the stupid crap you ever did, every meal you threw away, that kind of stuff. You know? And it changes you. You know, all of a sudden your priorities become about survival, not anything else. You know, not lifestyle, not what other people think of you or what you're trying to present to the world or any other BS that's involved.
A lot of the reason that I'm going back is so that I can stop feeling homeless. And if you need to know what it feels like to be homeless, or how does one feel homeless, you have the insecurity, the desperation. Ignored, bereft, angry, contemptible, worthless.
So there we were. Anyway, that was our first little bout of homelessness. That definitely changed us. And then, somewhat 3 months, 4 months later, in May,
Yeah.
you know, and through a series of unfortunate events that were not our fault. We did everything right. Well, we had just finished our little stint as nannies and couldn't handle that because the pay was way too low and the conditions were ridiculous. So we were living in a hotel, and this is a Motel 5, mind you, not a Motel 6, not a Econo Inn or anything. No, Motel 5. Okay, that tells you everything you need to know. Anyway, that was going to run out at the end of the week. So we were looking at being homeless, and this would have been the second time we were homeless in Denver. And homelessness in Denver in 2002 it was horrible. There weren't shelters like there are now. We told you, we told that story, The sheriff showed up as well as the management company's movers and, proceeded to grab all of our shit and put it right out on the front lawn. It's in the video. I might have to do an arrow or a circle or something, but it's in the video of that place. And so while our friends are taking us to the hotel with what we can carry, since we had enough for 1 week at the weekly hotel, we were watching people carry off our stuff, that we had accumulated over the last 5 years.
So this was the place that...
Where you lived with no electricity?
Yep.
It's so hard to imagine. It's hard for me to conceptualize being able to survive that long without electricity, for one. And God, you guys really lived across the street and next door to some really beautiful classic architecture. I mean, I don't blame you for wanting to live down here. It's gorgeous.
Will I have a place to sleep tonight? Will I have food to eat? And I know these are questions that I asked when I went out on the streets. Where will I sleep? Where will I eat? What will I eat? How will I eat?
And, we didn't want to stay in Denver, or in Colorado for that matter, because we were getting embittered and angry all the time. And I didn't want to live like that. We've seen other people, older than us, and we've seen people move there from, like California. We saw people move there from California, it killed them. Sometimes literally.
I got teeth. I got my top teeth. I don't really know what else to say other than I got my teeth. I'm going to have to learn how to talk, and I'm going to have to learn how to work with them. But I got my teeth. I can now go out and smile and not have people look at me funny. I can work without a mask on. I don't have to worry about it anymore. I got my teeth. I don't know how else to say it. I've waited 3 years to get teeth. Something that you don't realize gives you self-esteem.
But I mean, I know it's not really personal, or at least I hope it's not.
Whoa.
But it felt very personal to me that I lost my best friend. Like, I just didn't understand
It wasn't.
what happened.
Honest to godly, what happened was I quit calling people. I just quit calling people, and then I lost phone numbers, and then we didn't have a fucking phone. And Jesus Christ.
Yeah. It just made me really sad because I couldn't. Even if I knew you didn't have a phone, I would have come to your house. You know what I mean? I'd have come, left a note, whatever. If I'd have known where you lived, I'd have just been like, I'm gonna go see if Nikki's home.
Well, I have been dealing with the legal side of it, mostly because I was working less than you, or I wasn't working. I can't remember for sure. But I was there more than you, and so like I was there when they served the process, and you know, they knock on the door, you open the door, and they're holding it like this, and click, you get a camera, and they shove it in the door and walk away. You know? So I freaked the guy out, see, because we were expecting it, so like, oh, thanks, dude. He stopped, turned around. You're welcome. I'm like, no, so you're just doing your job, dude. I know it's not personal. You know? I just freaked him out, though.
You know, when we were kicked out of that apartment, we did everything we could. We tried to give them money, and they said no. And we were removed. And that's where I broke the first time. And then I hear that outside, and I know that somebody's having a very hard time. Somebody is out of doors, somebody has no place to go, somebody's very angry at society, and I don't blame them. Not one bit, because they're not taken care of, and they should be. And what did I do? I got status symbols. Luggage, I had to get new purses, I had to get clothes that fit. Well, that I had to get anyway. And now I feel guilty for it, because I could have helped somebody have a hotel for a night, or getting themselves a meal. It's the night before I go to Colorado. And I'm so anxious that it's 7 p.m. and I'm ready for bed. Yet I'm not. I'm so anxious I can't sleep. But I know I have to get up at 4:30 in the morning so that I can have some coffee and get ready. And I don't think I'll sleep much past 4:30 anyway. I'm more excited now than I am scared. But the anticipation is getting me and the stress is getting me. I'll enjoy the trip once I'm moving. Yeah.
But, you know, just being in San Francisco, we found an SRO on 7th and Folsom. It's gone now, so I guess we can say it where it is.
Yeah, 7th and
on
Folsom.
7th and Folsom in Soma there. I had enough for one night. Stayed there one night. Cuddled in one bed, even though it had bunk beds, but, you know, we were young and thin, so we could do that.
Yeah, we wouldn't sit down.
No. Not now. Anyway. Pardon me. Yeah, so we stayed there one night, watching local news on our little TV with this little 1 inch, I think.
It's 2.5 inches.
Yeah, with the antenna on it, and you know, you stick it in your pocket basically. But it had a color screen, color TV. It was impressive.
Had a little roll
right
knob on it to get your station in.
Oh, of course. You know, it's just like little transistor radios.
had I been less vicious or less stubborn, I wouldn't be here. You have to start thinking about where you're going to sleep next. You don't have time to grieve. And I realized that I've gotten very good at hiding my bipolar and my PTSD and my generalized anxiety disorder. And there is a belief there that homeless people are homeless because they want to be. And that's not the case. People are raised to be vicious. I should say it's highly competitive. And that, well, I shouldn't say I'm not. I'm told I'm highly competitive. Probably am. So I'm a product of my environment, or at least in some ways I am. You wouldn't think that I would care, but I want to feel nostalgic for Colorado. I want to have that, and I don't. I am on the train. I am on my way. I am excited. I'm enjoying the trip so far. I've had lunch, and I've been working on the movie. I've tutored a student, and I feel very important. It's different. Not than I thought it'd be, but it's different than when we came out to San Francisco. It's a much better trip. I'm going first class. Cattails. Used to make wishes on cattails when I was little.
Something else we lost with homelessness was our cat. They don't point that one out.
Yeah. Miss him. He was a good boy.
Yeah. Maybe a little butterbelt.
He would lay down to eat.
Well, he was just soft, pudgy fat. You know, I mean, sir, he's hard, pudgy fat.
Yeah.
Twist was just kind of like pushing on a plum.
Okay, I'm still on the train. And I keep watching snow-covered mountains in the distance. And as the sun shines in, I've got my sparkle blouse on, so it looks sort of like a disco ball. I'm anxious, I'm excited, and the closer I get, the easier it feels. I just hope I can maintain my own me. I've worked hard to be me. I like me. I love me. And that is a recent thing. Not that I wasn't a lovable person before. I just didn't know how to love myself.
I didn't know if she was schizophrenic or not.
We weren't sure.
Yeah, I mean, comes on, of course, you're not. You're severely bipolar, but still, you know. And so, I'm there with this person who's alternating between 1 minute, oh, it's fine, we'll recover from this, honey. We're no big deal. We'll be back on our feet in no time. We'll get a better apartment. You know, and the next minute, holy shit, we're never gonna recover. Oh my god, well, we just fucking die. Oh my god.
And people don't realize the struggle that is.
And, you know, I guess I'm assuming it's probably your intellect that has always kept you even enough to, you know, make it to your 30s without needing medication. You know?
did. I ticked. Coming back from that liquor store.
I know.
When that guy asked me for 50 cents,
Yeah.
all I could see was grinding his face into the pavement. And
Enjoying it.
that's not what I wanted to be.
Anyway, so things weren't looking good for us. Yeah. Anyway, so what do? Okay, asset check. We saw what we had, which was a computer, and decided that we want to move somewhere. We didn't know where. We asked each other, and we decided let's go to a coast. Okay, we had never lived on a coast. I had lived on the Gulf Coast, but that doesn't count. Anyway, it's a whole other story. But okay, so fine. Let's go to the East Coast, West Coast. Don't know where.
And how the culture was different never occurred to me. I had been raised that a city was a city was a city, and that they were all the same. What?
Just thinking of people watching this. Look, did you get paused? Did I just freeze? When we got kicked out of that little apartment that we had in Denver, that we'd been there for 5 years, of course, it's super traumatic. And, I'm going through all this with an unmedicated bipolar. It worked down to New York or San Francisco. Mm-hmm. Literally, we knew the same amount about each of them, really, which is nothing. This is pre-internet days, don't forget that, kids. And so we flipped a coin, literally. It came up heads.
Coin flip.
Okay. Coin flip. Okay, so there we were. Okay, so we flipped the goddamn coin. Give me the goddamn coin! So we got on the bus with what we could carry on our back, 2 one-way bus tickets from Denver to San Francisco, and, about $50-$60 in cash. And that was it,
Okay. Why is Denver so bad? Well, Colorado. And Colorado is so bad because of things like the gentleman that's on my birth certificate. He has anemia. And it's a treatable form of anemia. But they're letting him die because he can't afford the treatment and his insurance won't cover it. Okay, I'm in Colorado now. I am anxious and scared and wildly angry. And I couldn't help it.
But that's life with an unmedicated bipolar, perfectly calm, maybe have a nap, and she'll walk up and go, ah!
Had you lost hope?
Yeah, lost hope and embittered is the word.
The things that you remember are the things that for whatever reason made you laugh, made you cry, gave you a heightened emotion of some sort. Well, those are the things I remember. Well, today I saw Fred's daughter, and I went and had my nails done. Here, let's get a decent... I can't tell. In any case, it's been a hell of a week. It's been fun. It's been interesting. And I'm not looking forward to going home. I want to spend more time here. I mean, I'm looking forward to leaving for certain reasons, but not really. I gotta do it this way. I gotta ask him, how did it feel to move at my whim?
I don't think it was your whim. I had thought of it myself before. You know, wasn't for sure if you'd be that adventurous of it, you know. But no, I had thought of it. So I feel like it was a mutual decision all the way.
It was fun spending time with Jen. We haven't done it in so long. I missed her. Seeing the places I was homeless was easier with her, knowing that she'd take me home. I didn't have to get out of the car. I didn't have to be outdoors. It's a lot of what's happened since I've been homeless. I don't want to go outside anymore.
Trying to get some mechanical issues solved here, and then we're going to get out of town. So, Conductor Dana's up front, talking with our engineers, trying to figure out a solution. Then we're going to depart Denver Union Station. Conductors will be walking through immediately after we depart. Once again, folks, just holding here for a mechanical issue.
Of course. I can't leave Denver. So we lived there for 2 years, and then one morning we woke up to somebody out in the alleyway screaming, "Emery, Nikki, ain't no fucking joke, there's a goddamn fire!"
Because we're used to people in the hallways yelling, you know, it was that kind of place. And so I'd hop up, and I always kept a towel under the door, because we smoked at the time. We didn't want to bother other people, as well as we didn't like other people's smells coming into our room. So we just, so it happened to be plugged already. Well, pull it open, and and smoke didn't come in because then I wouldn't open the door, but you could smell it all of a sudden. Oh god, it reeked, Open the door, stick my head outside. I knew to keep it down in case there was a flashover. Stick my head outside, and two doors down, I can see orange flame inside there, and I look up, and it's just this thick carpet of black smoke on the ceiling. That freaking thick, and it's just, okay, time to go. Close the door, plug it up, and grab some stuff, and out the window we went to our fire escape. And so that's how the story is that we lost our home and our job in the same day.
I'm so excited to be going home. I can't wait to see my husband. I can't wait to see my cats. I swear I'm more excited than I was going to Colorado. Not that I didn't miss Jen horribly. I do. But San Francisco's home.
Yeah, and so basically after the week of help from the Red Cross ran out after that, you're out on the streets, you're homeless, And our situation at the time was we couldn't go back to the park. They had made it to where you could go up on that hill now. So you couldn't go live in the park anymore. So we went down and lived on the beach, Ocean Beach at the end of the N line. Get off the N line, go across the Great Highway, and take a right, and the third sand dune on the right. That's where we lived. Basically right inside there. We're not just spouses, we're partners too.
Yeah.
Important. You did remember to turn on the microphone, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
The microphone is automatically on.
Nice.
There is no guarantee of anything. There is no guarantee. There is no safety net. Well, shit. I knew I wasn't logical. But I was trying to figure out where I went wrong, and nobody would listen to me long enough.
What's the problem with anybody with mental illness, myself included? You got to jump to that emotional level right away, or they'll get upset with you.
Well, it feels like nobody ever
Of course,
listens.
you know. I mean, to you, you're in a perfectly logical state, and so if anybody else isn't in that state that you are, they're being illogical. You
Yep.
know, I always understood that, but fortunately, with her high intellect, she always was smart enough to realize when she was being completely unreasonable and so forth. So
It may have
That's
taken me a minute.
well, that's how we stayed married for so long. You know, I'm not just a glutton for punishment. So anyway, finally, 3 months later, they finished repairing the one room and the smoke damage, and we got to move back in. And then, like within a month of that, kind of found out that they sold the building.
Which is why it reopened.
Yeah, well, yeah, pretty much. That's why it reopened too. But they had sold the building. It was no longer going to be an SRO hotel. Now it was going to be a drug rehab. Oh, but you're welcome to stay if you want to keep paying rent. Was the message we got. And so, you know, we put on our cute little coat and tie and went down there and talked to the new owners who bought the master lease. You know, and we pointed out that I was in the middle of suing them for unpaid wages and overcharge of rent, and almost certain to win. You know, it'll be a little bit different now if I have to sue them personally, but you know, I have this case against the master lease of this building is what it was, and they just bought the master. So I'm like, okay, so that kind of transfers to you. So basically, you owe us about 8 months of rent. And just look on the face. And so they thought about it for a couple days and came back to me and offered me a job. And just got a rent, you know. And it was actually a very good thing because it worked its way on the person who had bought the lease on the building was turning into a rehab. He had another business which was a pre-press house. You guys can look up what that is. It's basically making printing plates. Film
Everything
for
it takes
plates.
to get it from the idea to the actual magazine.
Yeah, you know, some graphic design, that sort of thing. But that's where I learned all that from, and it was, you know, and it's been quite amazing. You know, it's been my career since then. You know, for graphic design of all kinds. You know, 2D especially, but I can do all kinds. You know,
Yes.
I even went to college for it, and that's pretty much how we got to, you know, the next stale 7-10 years of our life.
Yeah.
You know, living here, San Francisco.
Well, how did we? That's how we got off the streets that time. Yep.
Yeah, they opened it back up. You know, they worked for Richard.
Yes.
You know, and I was wound up working for Shepherd.
And then
And
I left and worked for Phoebus Lighting.
yeah, so you went to Phoebus.
And then
And
we
then
went to
we
Louisiana.
went to Louisiana so I could go to college.
And then we came
I
back.
guarantee you fell through again when we came back. Couldn't find a job quick enough. Wound up homeless again. Spent the next year in a shelter because now we're too old to be living outside.
Yeah, my body's sort of broken
Uh-huh.
down. I can't
Right.
carry what I used to carry.
That
Little
kind of
things.
thing. And from all the crap that happened in Louisiana, I was just broken mentally and disabled. You know, so something that, you know, the world should take more seriously. It's just that. I mean, I eventually had to sue and eventually won Social Security disability for mental health reasons. Because of that. You know, I couldn't perform the type of job I was doing before I went to Louisiana anymore. So, hence disability. And I've been on there ever since. You know, and here we are 10 years later.
Yeah.
Now you're up to speed.
Yep. There we go. Thank you. Okay, there we go. I will adjust from there. I don't know what to say now. I just went completely blank. All right. All right. And we're back where we started. I'm at a loss for what to say. I've told my story. I've had my husband tell our story. And I've told it in a manner that is consistent with my brain. At least mostly.